Alright, so this tutorial is going to be about using Educreations, which is a screencasting creation app. It's also a web site, as far as a web app, if you will. It can be used by teachers and students, and it is very nice and handy to use to create both on the iPad as well as on the computer. So let's start with the easiest piece here. So I'm going to just take you through what this would look like if you are going to go to the website and create the picture. Create your account. So just educreations.com, and as you look at it, you can simply click the Get Started key here, and it will take you to a login page. On the login page, you have a chance to, first and foremost, choose whether you're a teacher, student, or other. And this is important because if you choose your teacher, you're going to be able to set up classes within your school, which makes it very convenient. Then when your kids come back to the other side, they will also be able to choose student and access your classes, or for the sake of argument, it's access Powell High School, Powell Middle School, or whatnot, and be able to track all of their teachers. Very nice, convenient. Parents can set up in there as well. So you set your account up as a teacher, and then after you have created your information, you get a chance to choose which school you teach in. And as you can see, it essentially has all of our schools. It has Powell Middle School, as far as just using that as a sample here. And so I can simply click on that, and then it will link me to Powell Middle School or Southside or the high school or whatever. Once I've done that, I'm ready to start creating. Now, this is what we call the dashboard, and so I'm in here. I can create my course. I could create world history, I could create English, whatever it is, and content within my course. I could make it visible to my whole school. I could also make it visible to the public or just to my students as well. So simply by clicking this tab right here, I can adjust that. But visible to my whole school is a nice function that the kids in your school can use. You also can choose your subject area here and set up your classes as far as that. This function down here is pretty nice. It enables questions and answers tied to your lessons, so kids see those and they get to respond back to those, and we'll talk about that in a later piece. So everything I've done up to this point, I could have done on my iPad, but I chose to do on desktop. And so my class is created. I created a sample class for this, and I can also work either on my desktop or on my iPad. Nice part about this, as you can see, I could use my mouse. If I'm more comfortable working on my computer, I could do that. But if I'm more comfortable drawing or using the iPad, I could do that as well. We will continue on both ways. Just so you know, this whole recording, as you are seeing it, is created on the iPad using the picture function. So we'll talk about that as we go as well. So now let's go to your iPad. So if you're looking at your iPad, hopefully you've already downloaded the app that we started with. If you haven't, you can pause the lesson and you can download the Educreations app, and we will go from there. And let's look at some things as a teacher, how this looks like on your iPad and getting it out to kids. So when you open up the app on your iPad, it will come up and it'll take you through a simple tutorial, and you can just it just highlights what it can do. It doesn't totally tutor you on it, but you can kind of look through that. Just simply hit the next button and continue on through that. When you're ready to actually create some stuff on your iPad, you simply hit the Done button and you're ready to go. Now, once you have clicked the Done button, you are taken to this screen, which gives you the chance to start. You tap New Lesson. You can check out the other featured lessons. And there's a lot of featured lessons out there that you might find that are very useful in your class, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, if you will. But we're going to look at how you create your own. But before we can create our own, we've already created an account online at educreations.com, and so we need to link our iPad here to our account online. So this little settings button down here, if you will, gives you a chance to click on that, and the top function will be log in. So when the login button comes up here, it says, hey, do you want to create an account? All this stuff. And you could create your account on here if you hadn't already done it on your computer. But instead, you've already created it, so we're going to simply hit the login button. So after you have logged in, now you are essentially back to this screen here where you can still check out the featured lessons, or you can create a new lesson. So if we create a new lesson here, and I am just grabbing that, I'm going to click on that button, and we're going to quickly look at how you create a new lesson. So this is now your whiteboard, and let's talk about some things quickly on here. So these are, right here, are your colors that you can choose to use. You can opt out and you can change your colors if you want to, but you can choose any one of those pins that you want to. You can click on the pointer function here, and the pointer function allows you to not have a color, but you can move pictures and do whatever. And if you click on this function right here, this allows you to insert a picture into your whiteboard, if you will. So you can take a picture directly off of your iPad, so you could be taking something of maybe that's on the board, or maybe something that's on the internet, or whatnot. Otherwise, you could choose pictures from your library. On a side note, all of the pictures that I'm using to show you the screenshots are coming out of my library on my iPad. The other thing that gives you a nice function on this, a little different than other apps, is it allows you to connect to your Dropbox. So you could bring in pictures, graphs, whatever you're looking at from your Dropbox account either. So you have all of these options, which is very nice and convenient. So once again, now I can quickly change my colors if I needed multiple colors or whatnot, and go from there. I could insert graph paper, I could insert whatever you're looking at. I could insert a map. I could do that by using my picture function here. So you really have whatever potential you can think about here. And so once you're ready to go, you're ready to go. The nice function is here, I can hit record. If I hit record, it would start recording, but it gives me a chance to pause. And I can switch screens, I can stop, come back to it later, all of those kind of things. Another nice feature of the Educreations app is these little guys right here. These are just most of you probably already know that, but these are the undo and the redo button. So I can undo something that the last thing I've done, undo multiple things, or I can redo them as I go to. It's nice so you don't have to completely start over if you screw something up. The other nice part about it is, as you look down here at the bottom of the screen, I can also add slides. And so I can potentially create my slides as I go and have multiple whiteboards. And so I can also very conveniently go back. And so you can see, as I'm clicking through, I can go back through my screenshots. So I can go back to the start of a problem, back to the map, back to whatever. You are capable of thinking of all the different possibilities of craziness that you could use this app for, and all the different things that it could be used to help your students. So to kind of wrap this up, and we will go a little bit more in detail with each one as we continue to move forward, I can log back in. I'm logged in. This screenshot is from my iPad. I could log back in on a PC, whichever one you're more comfortable with, or a Mac, and I can see all the lessons I created. I can also see all the students that are in my class, and at this point in time I've got this one for the sample class that I have, and I can manage those students and go from there. So the nice part about this app is it gives you a lot of freedom. It'll forward and do those things, so you don't have to be perfect. The other nice part that we'll touch on later is it also allows you to take an app and have kids create an account, and then they get an email every time you put out a new lesson. They're part of your school. They see them. They can get to those and automatically be updated. We'll look at this from the student point of view in a separate tutorial. If this is something that intrigues you, you're going to want to look at the student side of this. Otherwise, thanks for listening.